Hello students, welcome to third lecture of electrochemistry. In previous lectures we discussed about some basic concepts of electrochemistry and electrochemical cells, and we discussed about calculation of cell potential. As we discussed on a half cell, in a half cell, that means we have one anode and one cathode. We have two different parts. On anode side oxidation reaction takes place, cathode side reduction reaction takes place. Now on both of the half cells, that means either reduction half cell or oxidation half cell, there is a potential difference between electrode and electrolytic solution. That means if we talk about copper zinc cell, then on zinc side we have potential difference between the zinc solid and Zn2 plus solution. Same thing will happen on copper side. When we attach these two different type of half cells with each other, again you will notice there is potential difference between these two half cells, and because of this potential difference, conductions or electricity produces. So now let us discuss for next point. So as we discussed in previous lecture, suppose we have a cell mentioned here. We have copper and silver cell. So between the copper half cell and silver half cell, potential difference arises, and because of this potential difference, electron flow occurs and you will get some electricity. Now each of these half cells have their own reduction potential values, but you cannot directly measure those reduction potentials. So how can we find it? You can find the difference between their potentials. Suppose let us say we have a potential of a copper half cell, let us call it X, and potential of silver half cell, let us call it Y. So you can find the difference between their potential, that means X minus Y is equal to cell potential. Okay, we can find it by connecting these two half cells together in a cell, and the cell potential is equal to difference. This is the cell potential, and cell potential is equal to difference between potential of each half cell or cathode and anode. So how can we find these values? Now let us take an example to understand this point. Suppose you have different bags of different masses. Suppose we have a bag named A, then we have bag named B, then we have a bag named C. Now you do not know what is the value of mass of A and B. Let us say difference between them, that means A minus B is equal to 5. Okay, so you can measure difference in their masses. You have a scale in which you can place these masses and you can find the difference. Okay, we have a meter which shows the difference between two different bags or two different masses. So this scale represents difference between A and B is equal to 5. So it may be 10 or 5, or it may be 15 or 10, or it can be 1000 or and 995 kgs. Okay, so we cannot say which is exact or actual set of the masses, but let us say we know the value of C. The value of C is 3 kgs. Okay, so how can we find the masses of A and B? Okay, remember in this scale you can only find difference between two different masses, but you cannot find individual mass. So how can we do it? We do not know about the mass of A and B, but we know the mass of C. So with the help of C you can find A and B. For that you have to use either A or B on one end of the scale and C on the second. So now let us assume difference of A and C. In this scale you can see the difference between these two is 7. That means A minus C is equal to 7, our simple equation. Now we know that the mass of C is equal to 3. That means A minus 3 is equal to 7. So we can say that A is equal to 10. Okay, now if A is equal to 10, then earlier we find that A minus B was 5. so it represents B must be equal to 5. So same thing can be done with our cells. We do not know reduction potentials of half cell, and you cannot find it using the cell, but you can find the difference between the cell, okay, or difference between potentials of two half cells. So using same method as discussed here, we can find the reduction potential of individual half cell, but for that we need at least one known value of half cell reduction potential. But the problem is we cannot measure individual half cell reduction potential. For that we will use this technique. Okay, so let us discuss our measurement of electrode potential point. So the potential of individual half cell cannot be measured. We can measure only the difference between two half cell potentials that gives the EMF of cell, that means cell potential. If we arbitrarily choose the potential of one electrode, that means randomly choose the potential of one electrode or a half cell, then that of the other can be determined with respect to this. That means, as mentioned earlier, our problem is you cannot find individual reduction potential of half cell, but we can find the difference. So to get the individual reduction potentials of a half cell, we need at least one value. So we have an option to choose random number for one random electrode. Okay, so that means we are giving some value to some random electrodes. So according to convention, a half cell called standard hydrogen electrode, represented in figure 3.3, represented by platinum solid slash H2 slash H plus aqueous. That means, note here, if we represent copper half cell, then it will be something like this. Copper solid is in contact with copper ions or aqueous solution of solution. Okay, but here we are using a gaseous compound in the reaction. Okay, so instead of solid copper we have gaseous hydrogen, but we need some solid surface for the conduction of electron, and that's why we will use some solid which cannot interact or participate or interfere in reaction, and good option is noble metal. That's why we are using platinum. Platinum is a noble metal, that means it won't participate in any kind of reaction, but still it is metal, so it will help in conduction of electricity. Okay, so that's why we are using one extra thing when gaseous compounds are used. So platinum H2H plus system is assigned a zero potential at all temperatures corresponding to the reaction, and we have reaction of H plus accepts electron and it produces half mole of H2 gas. So here we have a reaction H plus to H2 which has zero oxidation state, and we will consider the potential value of this given reaction equals to 0. Now we have a value of one of the half cell reduction potential, and this value will be useful to find other half cell values. So the standard hydrogen electrode consists of a platinum electrode coated with platinum black. So here we have platinum electrode at the center. Okay, so it will be coated with platinum black, again one type of platinum compound which do not participate in reaction. The electrode is dipped in acidic solution and pure hydrogen gas is bubbled through it. Okay, so here we have acidic solution, that means solution of H plus. Acids releases H plus, and here we have bubbles of H2. Depending on the reaction, either H2 will convert in H plus or H plus will convert in H2. It will depend on second half cell. Okay, we will talk about it in upcoming points. So the concentration of both a reduced and oxidized form of hydrogen is maintained at unity. That means this will be the reduced form, H2 is the reduced form of hydrogen, and concentration have to be in unity. But as we can see, we have gaseous state of H2 gas. That means as a concentration we will use pressure, and the pressure in unity is equal to 1 bar. So that means you have to maintain pressure of hydrogen equals to 1 bar. Similarly, we have oxidized form of hydrogen, which is H plus. Now it is aqueous solution, so that means you have to maintain the concentration equal to 1 molar. Okay, so it is mentioned and in next lines. At 298 Kelvin, the EMF of cell, standard hydrogen electrode and other half cell constructed by the taking standard hydrogen electrode as anode, reference half cell, and the other half cell as a cathode gives the reduction potential of other half cell. Now keep in mind, we cannot choose to behave hydrogen as anode or cathode. It depends on the nature of second half cell. That means if second half cell has more reactive metal or non-metal than hydrogen, then it will be anode and our hydrogen will be cathode. But if our hydrogen is more reactive than other compound, then hydrogen will behave as anode and other compound will behave as cathode. Okay, so we cannot control it. It depends on second compound. But still, let us assume we conduct a cell. We connected two different half cells, one hydrogen half cell and one random metal. Now in this case, hydrogen behaves as anode and second metal or second half cell behaves as cathode. So we can say that hydrogen will oxidize and second metal will be reduced. It represents hydrogen will be more reactive than that metal. So if our other metal or other half cell behaves as cathode, then cell potential is equal to potential of that half cell. Now what it means? So as mentioned here, equation of cell potential is equal to reduction potential of cathode minus reduction potential of anode. Now as mentioned in this point, our standard hydrogen electrode is acting as anode, and as mentioned earlier, value of hydrogen half cell is considered as 0. Okay, so it represents C minus A or cathode minus anode is equal to cathode because value of anode is 0. So by removing the value of A because it is equal to 0, you can see that E cell is equal to reduction potential of cathode. Okay, so that means cathode is equal to cell potential. So simple thing is, when we connect hydrogen half cell with other metal, then if metal acts as cathode, then reduction potential of metal or given half cell is equal to cell potential, as we can see in this equation. And same equation is mentioned here. Here we have value of hydrogen half cell. Now next one example, specific example is mentioned. Suppose we have a hydrogen half cell as mentioned here and a copper half cell as mentioned here. So hydrogen is mentioned on left hand side, so it must be anode, and copper is mentioned on right hand side, then it must be cathode. Now concentrations are in unity, as we can see. Pressure of hydrogen gas is 1 bar, concentration of H plus 1 molar, concentration of Cu2 plus again 1 molar. So all of these concentrations are in unity. So here we have standard condition. Now practically, when we connect these two half cells with unity concentrations, it will produce 0.34 volts of electricity. Keep in mind, this value is actual value. Okay, when actually you connect these two half cells together to create a cell, then it will produce 0.34 volts of electricity. That means our E cell is equal to 0.34. Okay, now we know the value of cell potential. We find it practically. We know the cell potential, reduction potential of hydrogen half cell, which is 0. Only one unknown value is reduction potential of copper half cell. Okay, so by placing the values in equation mentioned here, you can find the value of half cell reduction potential of copper, and it will be 0.34, because when we attach hydrogen half cell, then E cell becomes ER, that means cell potential is equal to reduction potential of cathode. Okay, so that means this value also represents the reduction potential of copper half cell. Okay, so keep in mind when we have hydrogen half cell attached with some other half cell, and if hydrogen acts as anode and other half cell acts as cathode, then cell potential E cell is equal to reduction potential of cathode. Okay, so that means when hydrogen half cell is attached and if it acts as an anode, you will have direct value of reduction potential of other half cell. Now if what hydrogen acts as cathode and other half cell acts as anode, suppose one example is also mentioned there. Suppose we attached zinc half cell with hydrogen half cell. Okay, we have a cell, zinc hydrogen cell. In that case, zinc will act as anode because zinc is more reactive than hydrogen. So our cell construction will be something like this. We have zinc plus 2 solution in 1 molar concentration attached with acidic solution with 1 molar concentration in contact with hydrogen gas having 1 bar pressure attached with platinum solid electrode. So zinc is more reactive, so obviously it will be anode, and hydrogen is less reactive, so it will be cathode. That means zinc gives oxidation reaction, hydrogen gives reduction reaction. So that means our equation E cell is equal to, it will be cathodic reduction potential minus anodic reduction potential. But right now as a cathode we have hydrogen, and as an anode we have zinc. Now we know that value of hydrogen will always be 0, and hydrogen is our cathode. So value of cathode in this case is equal to 0 minus reduction potential of anode. It will be equal to E cell or cell potential of our cell. That means in this case cell potential is equal to negative reduction potential of half cell or negative reduction potential of our anode. When we actually connect zinc and hydrogen together in a cell, then cell potential of this cell is 0.76. Okay, that means this cell produces 0.76 volts of electricity. So E cell is equal to 0.76, and it is equal to minus reduction potential of anode, and here as an anode we have zinc half cell. Okay, so that means Zn2 plus. Okay, so this cell negative value of this reduction potential is equal to 0.76. that means EA or reduction potential of zinc will be minus 0.76. That means when we attach hydrogen with other half cell and if hydrogen acts as cathode, then anode is equal to minus E cell. Okay, that means cell potential value in negative is equal to reduction potential of anode. So that's how you can find the reduction potential of unknown half cells using hydrogen half cell as a reference, standard hydrogen half cell as a reference. Okay, so we can do one more method. When one of the half cell is known, then you can directly attach it or you can directly use it in the calculation. As for example, suppose we calculated value of copper, which is 0.34. Now when we attach the copper half cell with zinc half cell as we did in first cell, then you can produce a cell output as 1.1 volt, which is mentioned here. Now as we know, cell potential is equal to reduction potential of right hand side minus left hand side, that means cathode minus anode. As a cathode we have copper, and copper value of copper is equal to 0.34. that means by placing the value in this equation you can find the value of unknown half cell. That means as we know, our reaction is E cell is equal to right hand side or cathode minus left hand side or anode. Now cell potential is 1.1 volt, value of copper which is on right hand side, it is 0.34, and now we can find the value of anode because only one anode is unknown in this reaction. So sometimes metal like platinum or gold are used at inert electrodes that do not participate in the reaction but provide their surface for oxidation and reductions and for the conduction of electron. As we discussed earlier, why metals are necessary. When you are using gaseous compounds in the reaction, then we need metal for the conduction purpose. It will provide the surface, that means we can say that it is surface phenomenon. Okay, so hydrogen half cell uses platinum because it requires surface and conduction or of electricity between H2 and H+. They cannot directly give and take electrons. They need some solid surface to do that. Okay, so that means when oxidation reaction of hydrogen takes place, then H2 molecules will donate the electrons on the surface of platinum, and when reduction reaction takes place, then H plus will accept electron from the platinum surface and it will convert into H2. Okay, so here one more example is mentioned, half cell of hydrogen, we know that. Then we have bromine electrode. Bromine electrode also uses platinum as a solid surface to help conduction. Now you may ask why we need these type of standard reduction potentials. Okay, so they have multiple different type of uses and this data is very helpful. You can directly find the value of the different type of cell combinations. Okay, suppose we need a comparatively good amount of electricity production from two different cells. So if you have reduction potential data, then before the practical you can already select your pair which gives maximum amount of voltage. Or suppose you need specific type of voltage, suppose as mentioned in this case, copper and zinc has 1.1 volt of output. Let us say our requirement is 0.5 volts of output. Then if you know the data, then you can choose the perfect pair for fulfilling our requirement. So same thing is mentioned here, the standard reduction potentials are very important. We can extract a lot of useful information from them. The value of standard electrode potentials for some selected half cell reduction reactions are given in table 3.1. If the standard electrode potentials of an electrode is greater than 0, then its reduced form is more stable compared to hydrogen gas. That means for hydrogen gas, reduction potential value is 0. And suppose you have metal X and value for the metal X is positive. That means it will be more than hydrogen. It represents atomic state of that metal is more stable. That means it will more likely to be reduced when we attach it with hydrogen. Similarly, the standard electrode potential is negative, then the hydrogen gas is more stable than the reduced form of the species, and in that case our reduced species will be less stable, so that it will oxidize when we attach it with hydrogen. It can be seen that the standard electrode potential of fluorine is the highest in the table, indicating the fluorine gas has maximum tendency to get reduced to fluoride ions. Okay, so higher the value of reduction potential, our species will try to reduce strongly, and lower the reduction potential value, our species will try to oxidize strongly. Okay, so as the value increases, more and more reduction will occur, and as the value decreases, more and more oxidation will occur. So the fluorine has highest value, therefore fluorine gas is strongest oxidizing agent, because oxidizing agents reduces itself. Okay, and fluorine has highest tendency to reduce itself, so that means it can act as strongest oxidizing agents mentioned in the list, and it will be the weakest reducing agent. Lithium has the lowest electrode potential, indicating that it is most powerful reducing agent. That means it will strongly oxidize itself, and that's why it can strongly reduce others. So it can act as strong reducing agent, and it can also act as weakest oxidizing agent. It may be seen that as we go from top to bottom in table 3.1, the standard electrode potential decreases with this, decreases the oxidation power of the species on the left and increases the reduction power of the species on the right hand side of the reaction. Electrochemical cells are extensively used for determining the pH of solution, solubility of product, equilibrium constant and other thermodynamical properties and the potentiometric titrations. All of these points will be discussed in detail in upcoming points. If you find any difficulty up to this point, feel free to ask and we will discuss next topic in next lecture.